You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
All right. Can you turn me up? Sorry. I like to hear my voice. Just kidding. All right. Well, welcome back to All About Cannabis. Of course, the show used to be called In the Lab with Jennifer, but I'm expanding and want to talk about all great things cannabis. And which brings me to my special guests, Mountain High Suckers, which is John and Chad. Hello, guys.
Hello. Jennifer.
So, don't be shy now.
We won't.
Alrighty.
John's getting all shy. It's funny. So anyway, Mountain High Suckers is a very unique edible company here in Colorado that features ratios. And what that means is they make candy with higher ratios of CBD and THC, meaning usually, gentlemen, help me if I'm wrong, it's about a 2 to 3 ratio, 3 milligrams to every 2 milligrams in your suckers and candies. And then I think your Colorado POW is more, a little bit higher of THC.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
So what's so impressive about these guys is they got on the CBD thing way before anybody else. And that's what we're going to talk about, how quickly I don't know how they knew, but really are the only ones that I can think of that have this exact ratio, especially with CBD in their edibles. And I have a very tough critic, which is my business partner, Steve. He had never consumed cannabis before he joined Can Labs. And he probably is their biggest fan. He takes it to sleep at night and says it's absolutely amazing. And of course, I've had them. They're great. My dad's had them. I mean, most people in Colorado. How many accounts are you in now in Colorado?
We are approximately about 250 centers right now.
Wow. That's incredible. And that's taken. So when did you guys start?
July 7th, 2010 was when we officially registered.
Okay. And let's talk about that. So what were each of you doing before, and how did you get in the business? Like, it's so fascinating how everyone, usually they have a story or two about it.
Well, both John and I had residential painting companies in Denver, taking care of interior and exterior needs of residential people, sometimes a commercial here or there, something small like a store owner. Mm-hmm. We had each had our own company for easily 10 years. John had recently gotten a red card in maybe 2008-ish, and realized that he could start growing for himself. And so he started to. His wife was okay with him having his plants in his house, and I was impressed to see what he was able to do, and then realized I had arthritis in my neck and that it's a great reliever for that type of pain. So I got my red card. I started growing at my house, and we both had intentions to be providers to these dispensaries, and
in some fashion,
yeah. And as soon and I was making suckers for 3 centers at that point, 3 different dispensaries out of my kitchen, and John and I joined to grow at a warehouse, and as soon as we did, the next couple months is when MMed basically had been established, and they came out with licenses, and you can be a MIPS or you can be a center, and we said, let's be a MIPS.
And did you establish a grow at that time? Okay.
We did. We had one. We were ahead of the curve, like so many people were doing in Denver. We had the patients to back up the grow that we barely were starting.
Sure.
So we had the patient count, and it was only a few patients, and it was easy to streamline into the medical already having patients, and it was a beautiful thing.
Aren't you guys glad that you had your own grow?
It's been it's been the basis of being able to control and have verified CBD in our products every time.
So we'll get back to how important to grow is to edible makers, but how did you find out you had CBD, or did you plan on it? order? I mean, how did that happen?
Well, we had decided that we were going to test our product because we felt that it was important for the all the patients to know exactly what they were getting. So we brought a test in, and to this lab, it was Full Spectrum Labs back in the day, and they tested our sucker, and they said, "Well, my God, you guys have CBD in there." We go, "What's CBD?" So then they decided it was time to educate us, and they did. And ever since that day, we've been very interested in it. But what happened was they said, bring in all of your strains, and we'll test all of them. So we brought them all in, and they figured out that we had a couple of really high CBD strains. And from there, it was just all uphill, basically, for the patients. And we've tested every batch since 2010. Every week, every time, always.
Yes, I know. And guess what? You have an amazing CBD product. And, that's what I tried to tell people early. Like, don't you want to know what's in there? Exactly. And for you guys, wow, that's awesome. And that's kind of what happened with Jason Cranford. Do you guys know who Jason Cranford is? So he originally was with Greenergy in Boulder. But he was my first CBD that I tested at Can Labs, and I remember calling him up. He had a 1-to-1, and it was bubblegum Kush. And I remember getting the report and going, "Oh, run this again. We ran it like 5 times. And I called him, and I was like, "Oh, my God." And now he has the most amazing strains of CBD because of that. And so thank God you did have the foresight to test, and look what's happened. I mean, you have consistent product, and that's why you're one of the top edible companies. You know how important that is. So where I was going with having your own grow is because in Colorado, people couldn't get rid of their trim. Couldn't get rid of it fast enough. And so people got into the industry and were like, great, we'll always have product. I won't need to grow. And now you can't even buy trim. And if you can, it's like at a ridiculous price. So it worked out very well for you guys that you were able to have your grow and to be able to control that.
It has been a big deal.
Because I've heard a lot of nasty stories of edible companies, just some of the trim that people try to sell them is just, it's horrendous. But some people take it. Some people take molded trim. Yep.
It can be a scary thing out there. As a company owner, you have to have your group of there we go. You have to have what your company believes in as the forefront, especially medically speaking. We just knew the better the product you are working with will end up being a great product if you're concerned. And we are concerned. Unfortunately, this summer, I think, was the worst that I had seen some type of trim in the market that had powdery mildew on it, which it's a very common word in Colorado, and people are careful to mitigate it or remove. And, I saw the trim being offered by this one place, and darn if it wasn't in every bag, and that was all these different varieties. And it was just very frustrating, and I turned it down, and they were surprised that I turned it down. And I think it's because some people don't look at it as something that could be harmful. And we're not 100% sure, but it's just something we've always avoided.
Right.
So
concentrated powdery mildew doesn't sound good.
No. Yeah, when you make a butter
or
an oil or anything, it's getting reduced. And
Right, it is getting reduced, and who knows? And again, we still need to do, those clinical studies, but why take the chance, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Part of you and I had discussed at one point getting to maybe see if we could understand the characteristics of the powdery mildew if people do different variety extraction techniques, if it rendered it useless or if it unfortunately compounded its problem making. Maybe down the road we could have some R&D that would shine some light for people to see what could happen.
Right, and I'm looking for that now, and I've kind of put out the word. So if you guys do hear on some trim that's dirty, I'd like to take that trim and then donate equal amounts to different extraction to see, does butane propane help? Does CO2? Because if it does, that's fantastic. We won't have to waste anything. And, it would be huge because you really don't want to waste any of the plant. All of the plant has value. So that's really important. But it's scary to me and I think it's, again, I say it in every interview, I think people just are pushing the limits because you can't die from cannabis. So people are just pushing it, people take too much, they do too much, and all this stuff adds up. So if you're smoking a lot and it has powdery mildew on it, that's probably not going to be good. If you smoke once a year and it has powdery mildew, well, maybe it doesn't matter. But still, I don't want to do anything that is unknown and could hurt my body or anyone else's, or especially somebody sick. What has been one of the most complicated, or what has been one of the hardest things you guys had to do in these years? Now, I'm not talking about the usual regulations and the government and all that, because we know that's a pain in the butt. But what really did you see that you were like, wow, you did not see that coming? Is there anything that sticks out in your guys' head?
That's a good question. I want to say we've, like you said, minus the trials and tribulations of just being compliant and all the times down to the tax and excise licensing building and talking to Ruthie, which all of you listening, if you're in this industry, you know who Ruthie is down at the building.
Yes.
I would say part of it is I think the rapport that we've gotten back, I think, has been very surprising. And we're happy. We expected some, but the more we get emails weekly from people finding benefits from it, that we are helping change their lives in a positive way, we just feel so good. And I think that's part of what has been maybe surprising is how much we've received. And again, it just verifies the fact that cannabis can just be such a positive part of people's lives when used properly. And I think that is just what we just love. We love the rapport.
So, Johnny over there?
No, I thought you had said what was the hardest thing.
Yeah,
Well,
I did.
that was the most surprising for me. But the
Is
hardest
the outpouring.
is the outpouring.
Yeah.
But the hardest, John,
What's the hardest,
what do you think?
I think actually developing our crew into a very fine-running machine that it is. Without them, it would be very difficult to produce what we do with our little business. So that's been pretty much the hardest thing, I think.
How many employees, if you don't mind me asking? Because, yeah, same thing for me. Like, that's been... All of us know that it's been very hard to find quality people because they go, oh, yeah, I love weed. And it's like, okay, that's great, but this is a job, and you don't smoke weed during your job. And, it's unbelievable how many calls we get at Can Labs of, yeah, like, I love weed. Can I get a job? And they call and ask. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It sounds familiar.
No. Right.
It does.
So I think what you say is key. And to all have that goal, because as business owners, of course, your heart and soul and your life's savings is in it, but theirs isn't. So it's really hard to get people to have that passion and care like that.
I think one reason that we have our good employees too is because we meet with them and we ask what they want, what they like in their lives. So, and then we tell them, maybe not in detail, but our plans for the growth of our company is going to be nationwide. Eventually here we're going to be opening in a couple other states very soon. Just them knowing that the potential in this industry can take them, to their dreams. One of them wants to work in a grow, and he's going to college for horticulture. Another one,
That's awesome.
Wants to do the whole extraction thing. Another guy wants to train people all over. So it's they have first choice of the really good jobs that will become available.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's the same we tell for our employees. You're one of the first. You sacrificed, and you're going to reap those big rewards. And let's face it, fellas, we've went from pioneers to settlers, I think. What do you guys think?
I think that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, I think we've crossed over. Well, we got to take a break, but we'll be right back.
Cannapunch is a delicious and effective medical marijuana beverage proudly made right here in Colorado. Each bottle is freshly infused with 100% pure flower extract from the highest grade marijuana plants available today. Using proprietary extraction methods, every bottle of Cannapunch is consistently and reliably infused with an exact milligram dosage that you can count on to relieve your symptoms each and every time. Cannapunch is delicious. There's never any medicine-y taste. We use only 100% cannabis flowers. No trim or byproducts are ever used in Cannapunch. It does not require refrigeration and comes in convenient, resealable multi-dose bottles from 60 milligrams to 200 milligrams. We have drinks with dosage that works best for you. Cannapunch is available in a variety of delicious flavors like black cherry, watermelon, pineapple mango, and blue raspberry. And we now have strain-specific beverages available just for you. Cannapunch is delicious, convenient, consistent, and effective. Give it a try and experience the Cannapunch difference.
Call Canasher at 1-800-420-5757 for all your insurance needs. Canasher understands the risks you face each day, and we are there to protect your business and your investment. Since 2010, Canasher has been serving the cannabis industry nationwide. Call Canasher at 1-800-420-5757 or visit us on the web at canasher.com to learn more about our insurance and risk management services. Proud member of the NCIA.
The National Cannabis Industry Association would like to thank its members who represent the leading professional businesses in America's emerging legal cannabis market. NCIA is the only organization that has unified legitimate cannabis business across the nation to fight for real reform in Washington, D.C. For more information or to make your business a member, visit us online at thecannabisindustry.org.
All right, and we're back. Okay, hello. All right. Chris, my producer, has the cutest little pit bull named Gnu. And he is adorable. He's gray. And just a little chunky monker. I call him Chunk. Anyway, so we're all like looking at the dog right now. Anyway, so what we were talking about over the break is kind of what the laboratory landscape looks like in Colorado. And they're flocking, that's for sure. But there's supposed to be a 2-year residency, and it seems that some people have fancy footwork getting around that stuff, but that's fine. We always have wanted a lab to send out results to, and make sure we're all on the same page, and that's all I can ask for, and hopefully that's what's going to be here, because once the state has to certify, there's not going to be your guy in the basement testing with TLC or a guy with a crappy GC in the back of his car. That's not going to be accepted in Colorado. There actually has to be a brick and mortar so they can for accountability regulation, so they can come and inspect and all of that kind of stuff. We'll have to have cameras. We will live by the same rules as edibles and grows and everything like that, which is great. And, that's all I've ever wanted. So I got you guys as a client in 12, I think. Mm-hmm. Like summer of 2012, right before kind of Full Spectrum shut down, which I was thrilled about. Because I got a hell of a chemist.
Yes, you did.
She's fantastic. I'll tell you what. Awesome. She's very, very smart, and can really talk to customers, which is something that my company lacked there for a while. Some of the science staff I had just could not talk to people, and it's very important when you're talking to customers, explaining the results and everything.
You had a couple Sheldons there for a while.
A what?
Sheldon.
Sheldons, is that what you call them? Sheldons?
From the Big Bang Theory.
Oh, yes. And he insults you too, but at least he's funny. I mean, these weren't even funny.
Yeah, true.
Sheldon, I forgot about Sheldon. So anyway, okay, so difficult team, staff, that's awesome. And, a lot of people underestimate because anyway, in any company, it's extremely hard to find good employees. So then now you have to have employees that are squeaky clean.
Absolutely.
They've never had a drug felony. They've never had a DUI, right? They've never...
No criminal
No
criminal activity.
Can you turn mine? There we go. No criminal activity, right. So, you underestimate the amount of people that had, literally criminal activities. People that got busted for, a dime bag or whatever back in the day is null and void, cannot be in this industry. So take that, and then you have a pool of people that think that it's cannabis, so woohoo, it's a free-for-all. And then you have a lot of good people that would love to come work for you, but are scared. They're scared. They're either scared of getting arrested or they're scared for the perception.
True.
Right? I think that, one of my main things this year is to change the perception of people that use cannabis. We talked last week about Nancy Disgrace and her little thing on TV. And the latest one is actually her side by side with herself, and she totally contradicts herself.
Go figure.
Yeah. First of all, pot makes you lazy, blah, blah, blah. And then the next one, pot makes you kill people. And
Oh, boy.
It's actually really, really funny. I probably should actually play it, but it's on Facebook. You can go search Nancy Grace. But it's just to change the perception and make people feel more comfortable about consuming cannabis, and that, just because people do, they're not losers. Now, of course, if you're a loser and then smoke pot, you're still a loser, right?
True.
But if you're not a loser and you smoke pot, you're not going to turn into a loser.
No.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be.
Yeah. So it's very important, and I know I went to this great event. Her name's Jane West, and she is doing high-level cannabis events, and it was awesome. Everybody was dressed up. They had it catered, open bar. Tickets were a little more expensive, but well worth it. And then they had it in an art gallery. And then outside, they had one of the nicest party buses you can get. So you could take your drink and walk out to the bus and smoke or eat whatever you wanted, and then go back into the event. It was awesome.
Very cool.
And I truly believe these limos now are building in filtration systems, because of course it was pretty
smoky
in there, but it didn't really seem like it would. So I know they did some kind of filtration in there.
Great idea.
Which is another
green
company.
tourism.
Which
Yeah,
is
I mean,
another
yeah.
company that you could have.
It's
But-
silly.
Yeah, it is silly. But so at least you have some place to go. That's been a major thing. It's like, so when you're at the office and it's Friday, you're winding down for the day. Sometimes you have a couple beers at the office, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just to talk to your coworkers, maybe shoot the, whatever for a while before you go home. Well, cannabis, you can't do that because you can't smoke. So, you can't smoke in your car. I mean, you can't go down to the bar and smoke. So I think these traveling transportation limo, I know are legal, are going to become extremely big.
Popular.
Extremely popular.
Absolutely.
So anyway, yeah, the party was great. Jane West will be on my show in February. So you'll definitely want to catch that. But yeah, tourism. We had 420 tours. My 420 tours on here. Do you know those guys?
We do.
And wow, I'm like, talk about a dream job, right? I mean, we all have dream jobs, but
Yes.
that's a pretty cool dream job, right?
It is.
Or a cannabis hotel, bed and breakfast.
That would be really cool.
The list is so. Did you guys know this? So remember the Jet Hotel? Do you remember the '70s party that the Hemp Connoisseur had? Like 2 years ago, it was disco themed.
Vaguely.
But I remember their ad for it, yeah.
Remember I was on roller skates? Do you guys remember that? So anyway, the Jet Hotel actually was up for sale. And a couple of people in the industry tried to buy it to do just that, and they found out what they wanted to do with it, and so they wouldn't sell it to them.
Darn it.
Isn't that interesting?
Next time
that
they
would have
don't-
been a perfect.
They won't disclose
place.
that
Exactly.
information.
Exactly.
I mean, they want to do business. That's all they really need to say is we're going to open up a hotel, and there you go.
I'm wondering
I would
what's
hope.
going on with the X Games too, or what happened with the X Games last weekend. If they had any, if they just kind of, because people were smoking
For sure.
outside. Yeah, I mean, like every year. But I'm wondering if people were a little less conscious about it, and if people got in trouble.
Signed up till hold it to the 2019 there.
They did.
Yeah, they have 5 more years.
2019.
Or 4
wow.
more, yeah.
I'm just wondering if they had any problems with that. I doubt they did, just because.
I watched it on TV and I didn't see any problems.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't hear of any in the news, so.
That's awesome. I mean, and that just goes to show you that when you go to a cannabis event, it's mellow. Like there's not a bunch of things going on, fights and such, testosterone and such. Like cannabis and testosterone, they're buddies.
It does.
Alcohol and testosterone are not buddies.
That's true.
For the most part. I mean, so also, we're going to take another break and then we're going to come back and talk about your party.
Excellent.
All right. Take a break.
Indispensary in Colorado Springs is proud to support Overgrow the Radio. With 2 locations in Colorado Springs, Indispensary invites you to discover what true selection and values feel like. Always featuring an incredible array of Stanley Brothers medicine as well as full line of edible and infused products. Indispensary is open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week, 364 days a year. You owe it to your health and well-being to discover Indispensary. Westside location at 3044 West Colorado and Eastside location at 3031 East Platte in Colorado Springs. Indispensary is your destination for indispensable quality medicine.
This segment was brought to you by The Farm, a medical marijuana care center located at 2801 Iris Street in Boulder. The Farm carries premium cannabis, edibles, and Hummingbird brand products. Visit our new cannabis lifestyle store for your local artesian glass, vaporizers, and hemp clothing. The Farm has been serving Boulder since 2009. Isn't it time you come and see what we have to offer?
Green Faith Ministry is for spiritual guidance, MMJ information, and networking combined with compassionate care on the way to enlightenment with all Green Faith sacraments. Green Faith provides charity assistance, including medical and food throughout the year. Contact them at greenfaithministry.com.
All right. So, the first party was Mountain High Suckers took Can Labs to a comedy show last year of their friend. What a great time that was. We had a blast. Wasn't that
great.
fun?
Josh Blue
Lucy.
is awesome.
He is awesome. So what was this party?
This party was a 4-year celebration of the start of our business, and it was much bigger than that, but Josh Blue was there as well. He didn't perform, but he just came and hung out for all night. But
That's awesome.
it was great. We had a reggae band, Rostosaurus, a local band. They were awesome.
Were they?
They played far and above what they needed to do. It was a fantastic show. And we had a lot of food. And what made it different is that we're not a center, so we deal with all the centers. So we don't really have competition. So what was cool was we got to try to bring all these people that are in competition together and have a good time for everybody. So it was really good. A lot of different companies showed up, a lot of different centers. Unfortunately, Jennifer did not show up.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
I
and,
know. I was in bed.
Yeah.
It's a school night. Like,
Yeah.
ask Chris, ask anyone. Like, I go to bed at 8. I know. It's terrible.
It was a Thursday night, but it was an awesome party. And next year we're going to do it again. It's going to say RSVP, and then it's just going to say yes.
That's awesome. That's cool. You should do that. So I'm looking on your website right now, and what you mean by you really don't have any competition is because you guys have CBD enriched products.
Yeah, and he also meant we didn't invite really any edible companies to the party.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but we
So
invited
it's just you
all
and
vendor
all the
owners. Yeah, which we
perfect.
know why maybe some of them didn't want to come, is some of them might not feel comfortable with
Right.
rubbing elbows with their competitors, which is
is
not
silly.
the norm. Yeah, you should know your
We have
people.
plenty to go around here, right?
I would say
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, we do.
We need each other. Everybody should be.
We
here.
do need each
So,
other. We've gotten through the last years because of each other,
That's it.
right?
Yep. We like the numbers. It's good.
Right. So what is your best seller? So you guys do suckers and sugar-free and regular and an amazing list.
25 flavors.
Holy nuts. 25 flavors, including lime in the coconut. I love it. Which one?
We do have a lime that has chili flakes in it.
Yes.
Which is pretty spicy.
Lime chili.
And the spicy orange mango as well.
Spicy orange mango to watermelon to pineapple toasted coconut. I mean, unbelievable flavors, and to have that many flavors, and they are wonderful. And then you, of course, have the lozenges, which are little candies, which I always recommend for people that have never tried an edible, because you can start with, it's about 5 milligrams per little piece, give or take, in the package. And I always give that to people. Hey, take one or two. Wait an hour. So it's really nice to have those little ones versus the sucker. You could break it up, but it's just better, I think, to do the lozenges. So and then the Colorado Pow Pow, which is, do you still have that?
We do. It's
Okay.
it's not on the web page.
Okay.
It's a limited edition product that we release once a month approximately, and only to a handful of places. It hasn't been something we wanted to release yet to the whole public. Although we love it, we just don't have that much of it all the time. So
It's faster acting,
it is. It's
and it's
more
a little
power.
more THC.
It
yeah.
can, yes, it can be, and it
Yeah.
has been on the reports that we've tested. So
Yeah, but it's yum.
But the most popular sucker
Yeah.
really today is the caramel apple. And everyone is
Really?
putting their order in. They'll say, we would like this many suckers, and can this many be caramel apple? So they'll order just a variety of whatevers, but they always want to make sure they add that one in. And we love it too. I think caramel, as we do know, can be on more than just the apple sucker. And we've had so many people bring up the other flavors. Why can't you do that? And we will. But it's handcrafted, that we get a block of caramel and we have to manipulate it down to that little disc that we put on. So it does take a little more attention and
Sure.
time.
Absolutely. And how did you decide on these flavors? I mean, some of them are the regular, but wow, lime chili?
Yeah. Well, I think the kitchen has created some of them. Some of our staff has. When I started the company, I started with grape, raspberry.
hate grape.
Yeah, I am not a grape
Yeah,
fan
I'm not
either.
a grape fan. Raspberry I love.
My wife is a big grape fan.
John's wife loves the
Oh,
grape.
is she?
But when I started in my kitchen, my wife was my helper, and she thought of adding toppings. And I was like,
Brilliant.
And she came up with this spicy orange mango sucker. That was her creation. And she's from Thailand, so, obviously a little spice
awesome.
in there and
Yeah.
sweet. It goes good. And I think that was part of our topping idea. And then, honestly, employees started to be suggestive to say, hey, put coconut on that lime. And then you got the lime and the coconut. And we're like, we love that. So,
Coconut. That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, and what do you think this is like? Oh, Tangerine. I love Tangerine. Remember the song by Led Zeppelin, Tangerine?
Yes.
Okay, and then do you sell a lot of the sugar-free?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's
Because,
about.
of course, if you have cancer, you don't want
it's
sugar.
Probably about, I would say about 15% of our sales, maybe
15.
in sugar-free. They have, that's quite a lot of sugar-free.
Yeah.
It really is, and it's an isomalt sugar substitute, and the stevia is the sweetener we use.
It is. So stevia is good sweetener. It's not the crap sweetener.
Correct.
That's probably why they taste so good then. You can't taste that aftertaste, right? Okay, and what about expanding the line?
Oh, wow. Well, John has a chef background back before he was a painter in Colorado, and I mean, he's got so many ideas we'd talked about throughout the years. We just keep laughing at our list. But we've actually played with a few recipes and actually have some very sound products to release. Looking forward to this year's more recreational or retail sales.
Adult use?
Adult use, there we go. It's still hard to put a name on it, and yeah, that's right, John, adult use. So there's a few lines we're going to put out this summer.
Mm-hmm.
How come it's Chad's back on the website, John, and not yours? Just kidding.
I was not there doing that photo shoot.
That was actually, it was funny. I had the shirts on doing a photograph shoot for our products, and I was wearing the shirt, and our photographer, Randy Peretti, was like, "Hey, I need to shoot that on you." And he just did a couple quick shots, so that's how that
it's totally
that's how
fine.
that
I was like,
worked.
"Hey, that's Chad."
That's my
and it's
back.
cool because I know Chad. Like anybody else, you're like, "Who's that guy?" But I love the branding, and if you guys go to their website, mountainhighsuckers.com, it's pretty cool. They've kind of implemented the Colorado license plate into the MHS logo and their stickers and stuff like that. So if you're into stickers, you definitely want to get one of their stickers for sure. Who uses your product? What are some of the stories that you've heard?
I would say it used to be our target group was like, I would say from 35 to like 90-year-olds that were really interested in, they've tried everything for so many years and nothing ever worked. And then they found the CBD product from Mountain High Suckers and they were like, oh my God. So we had like whole convalescent homes, like with, 800 or 1,000 people. I would hear like all these people in there would be on our products, and they lived right down the street from like.
Really?
Yeah.
And they don't know that's you?
Well, no, they knew.
Oh,
They
okay.
knew.
So did you get them interested in the product?
No, they went to the dispensary.
See, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
they went to the dispensary. They got it, and then they told all their friends. So that's how that all spread out. I guess I might not have went to that story, but
No, that's amazing.
so-
And that's what you want.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now, though, now that time has passed and research has gone on, and we've heard stories about all these children, and the seizures and all the wonderful
Yes.
things like that, now our target group is everybody that needs help. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so we really are selling to everybody. We've always been on the medical side. Now that the adult use is coming, I think that that's really good. I think that people that can get their medical stuff going into an adult, it just becomes more
Accessible.
accessible. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but not for me. I'm going back to renew my card because there's
That'll-
always a line.
Well,
somewhere.
yeah.
Yes.
Holy nuts.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Red cards have gone up. It's only $15, I think, at the health department now for a red card.
You mean down?
Wow.
Down at the
Gone
health-
down.
Oh, up.
Oh, no, up.
They went up?
No, it went down to $15 for the red
the price
card.
went down, but now the people getting red cards
The
went up, right?
increase
The
in
increase in
numbers
people.
for people getting
Because
the
guess
red
what?
cards.
They don't want to wait. Well, the first day, 4 hours, but now like
Right.
the clinic still has a line every day. Every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the benefits from marijuana are not just the lists that have been created by each state to try to
Thank you.
wrangle, and it's not fair to say that somebody with just an elbow ache or a headache can't go get this product when you can go buy aspirin and it kills unfortunate people that overdose on aspirin each year, where still marijuana is sitting in that 0 category, and we believe it to be milder than aspirin in its lethal levels because it's just not a word that gets brought up. So we're kind of glad it has the opportunity to touch more people when they can just walk in and buy
Sure.
it. So
yeah. Because that's how more people that haven't tried it, that do have pain
gonna
or
find
whatever,
out.
are going to find out
Yep.
because they don't want to be on a list.
They don't.
They want to see if it works for them first, and then maybe they'll go talk to a doctor.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we've heard the other side of the story. For instance, some of the stories that John and I will hear will be the husband got his red card. Husband is getting great benefits for whatever ailment. the
He's
wife
sleeping and not snoring.
And he's sleeping. And the wife says, how does it work for you? Obviously, it's going great. And the next thing you know, we've got another fan because the product does help people get into a deep sleep. I think a lot of products on the market today have that type of benefit for people, that it can relax you and allow you to heal up while you're sleeping, which is part of the healing process.
Neuroprotectant.
Very much.
See, that's what people don't understand. Melatonin, or let's talk about the bad one, Ambien. Mm-hmm. Does that give you anything, any neuroprotect?
No,
it gives you bad side effects where people have actually killed other people in their sleep.
In talking pharmaceutically, I mean, John and I have always been from that whole plant medicine type concept. Once we learned about CBD and started to really get savvy about the information available on marijuana and other drugs, real plants in its whole value are going to be beneficial more than ones that have been maybe scientifically separated, even though that has its benefits, and we all know that. But
of course,
we look at marijuana as a great whole plant to take from, and that's why we do the extractions in a different way than most people do.
Right, which you have a proprietary way that you do extractions, which allows, well, first of all, their suckers are fantastic. They're very good, and they're very consistent. I'd like to just kind of read a little bit of a testimonial on your website because it's amazing, chronic pain. I mean, it's amazing. Okay, we're doing more extreme sports. People are getting, and people are fatter than they've ever been on your frames. So you're getting, ligament and muscle and everything, all these problems, right? So this touches a lot of people. So I'm only 43, but had a fall while moving a couch about 6 years ago that herniated a disc high on the lumbar part of my spine. The nerve termination points at that nerve level affected the lower hip, upper thigh, and groin. So imagine 6 years of feeling like you were kicked in the jewels. I love how he said that. The muscle and joint pain then and now are being treated with oxycodone, but now I use it as needed versus chronic dosing, and I unsuccessfully tried to treat the nerve pain with tramadol. I don't even know what that is. But long story short, he found Mountain High suckers. This is real medicine that I believe any thinking doctor would allow. I love the fact that Mountain High suckers are made to be high in CBD, non-psychoactive, right from the get-go, and every batch is tested and each sucker labeled with a detailed breakdown, which is awesome. And you guys were the first and pretty much only ones still that break down the three cannabinoids. Most people just put THC and, if they have CBD. Finally, I have a product I can tell my doctor and boss exactly how it will affect me. My doctor was amazed, and I was able to drastically drop my oxycodone use. Oh, wait, I thought it was a gateway drug. And go to an as-needed basis. We also stopped the tramadol. My work performance has also improved, and since I'm not looped out on oxycodone anymore, but some may argue I must be getting some type of stoned. And why is that so bad anyway? That may be so, but I'm better off than jacked up on oxycodone all day. Plus, I only need 1 or 2 suckers a day, and I split them in half as a normal dose. These suckers are the best edibles I've found, so if you have any type of nerve pain, you must try these. They are also effective on muscle joint pain too, as evidenced by my drop in oxycodone. So let's talk about, that's amazing.
Wonderful.
And I'm telling you how many people have a herniated disc. Are you 1 out of 5?
I didn't even hear that one. So that shows you how many of those type of letters that we get. I didn't even hear that one. That was the first time. That was really cool.
Oh yeah, cool.
Oh, it's amazing. And listen, I left out a whole entire part of it. I mean, it's phenomenal because I just fell in my house, like my knee gave out. Okay, so I've never had any problems. Maybe my shoulder when I played softball, but that's fine. I've never had any problems. I'm like, God, what if I had chronic pain? I fell, and now my knee's jacked up. And there's really nothing you can do about it. So something as simple as that. Menstrual cramps. That's something I've been telling so many women. It's unbelievable. Midol, Motrin, all those that do such bad things to your liver. Have a little Mountain High Sucker candy before you go to bed, or even during the day, because their small doses will treat your muscles. I mean, that's what it does. It like helps bring your body back to homeostasis and helps with your muscles as well. So that's very cool. I think
I'm glad it works for you. We keep
it does.
The list continues to grow as to the benefits of it. We're pretty happy.
Well, in the sleep, again, I'd like to take a moment to thank you for helping me sleep. How many people do you talk to that don't sleep? God,
there's plenty.
I didn't sleep last
We've had
night.
people say that we changed their lives. They hadn't slept in 8 years, and they ate some of our candies, and they called the next day, like freaking out, going, "Oh my God,
Seriously,
So
it's that life changing.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to hear this and talk to people and experience it. You're talking about oxycodone. My wife has fibromyalgia, and she was taking 180 triple strength oxycodone a month, and then she
180
triple strength, and now she's down to none, and she just eats one of our suckers before she goes to bed at night. So I see it firsthand in my house,
God.
and it's pretty spectacular for me. So
It is.
And Chad,
And how different was she on those pain meds?
oh my God.
Yeah, it's night and day.
Yeah,
now.
like
I
that
mean,
guy talking about being loopy, for sure. I know,
Yeah.
I know firsthand.
Wow.
But what I want to say though is, if there's people listening that they're trying to treat their children and whatnot, there's a lot of strains out there. There are one specific one, I forget the name of it, but high in CBD. But we have very high CBD plants as well, and a lot of strains. And we're continually doing research in the CBD department. So we are more than willing to help and do what we can at Mountain High Sucker. So I just wanted to throw that out there if anybody's listening.
That's so awesome. And listen, I get emails all the time. And I don't know if you boys know this or if you're set up yet, but you can now post your results on Cannabis. That is how parents are going to find you.
Nice.
Because Cannabis made an entire 10 pages for patients. We have a tab. If you go to cannlabs.com, click on patient resources. It's like guide to CBD, blah, 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 and then real-time test results. So you guys, and we just started doing this, but we'll get you set up. And then, boo, you have a high CBD oil that goes in your suckers, and people can find you.
Nice.
The people that have been posting have gotten a lot of traffic into their stores and buying
bet.
their edibles. So
I bet.
because it's a lab,
True. Well,
Yeah.
people can take some trust in
Sure.
know how far it's come to dial in these type of results. So.
Exactly. If you're going to have a
Years.
procedure done in the hospital, what do? You go online, you look it up, and you research it.
That's right.
Yep. So
That's
check out.
That's a good point. That is a good point. And there's not a ton. That's why Cannabis was really built. The website was built for people that are not familiar, and parents and stuff, so they can they can research.
Get some education on it.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about extraction and everything like that. But we'll take our final break, and we'll be right back.
Extraction Tech Solutions. Not only is it safe, but it offers one of the only ETL certified essential oil extraction systems on the market. Our equipment meets or exceeds all of the North American safety standards. Customer relationships are important to us, so after the sale, it doesn't stop for us. We are reliable and therefore when our customer needs us. We offer pre- and post-sales training, method development, services, and repairs. Extraction Tech, safe and reliable because it matters. Contact us at www.extractiontech.com or 720-515-9254. Ideal 420 soil is preloaded to perfection with all your nutrient, microbial, and biostimulant needs. It's compatible with all strains and is good for a 22-week grow cycle from seed to harvest. This product is 100% organic and gives your marijuana that awesome aroma and smooth taste. we all desire. Ideal 420 Technologies is well grounded in soil chemistry, soil physics, and microbial biology, making them the most advanced soil company in the marijuana industry. They do the science so growers can focus on what truly matters, the plants themselves. No more mixing and feeding of expensive nutrient lines, supplements, and foliar sprays. Not to mention, the company is prideful in being the most consistent soil product that has yet to hit the market. Due to the results when using Ideal 420 soil, they are quickly changing the standard for cannabis cultivation. To order the product, go to ideal420soil.com. Use promo code INTHELAB for an additional 20% off.
National Cannabis Industry Association would like to thank its members who represent the leading professional businesses in America's emerging legal cannabis market. NCIA is the only organization that has unified legitimate cannabis business across the nation to fight for real reform in Washington, D.C. For more information or to make your business a member, visit us online at thecannabisindustry.org.
Says there's this much,
All right. Sorry about that. So, I want to express that I'm reading these on Mountain High Suckers, and I'm talking about, they didn't just jot down like a couple sentences. I mean, we're talking about a page. They sat down and wrote more than a page, which is unbelievable. So anyway, I think you had something at the break that you said that the hardest thing.
Yeah. What was very difficult for Chad and I to watch happen out in all the centers was the fact that people were stating, that they had CBD or their product was very strong and it was this amount of, THC and this and that. And when in fact, when somebody said CBD, Chad and I would jump because we are the CBD guys. We started it here in Colorado. We were the first to test. And so anyways, we know what it takes to put so many milligrams of CBD in a product. We know exactly what it takes. So there was a company back not too long ago, and they had this cool little bottle, antique looking bottle, and called like pure CBD, let's call it. And anyways, we had it tested. We brought it in because we always test everybody. They have CBD. We test it. We want to know if they're being honest. Chad and I test everything. You can test our products. You'll find it to be honest. Anyways, so we tested it. There was no CBD in it at all, zero. And then 4 other centers followed suit and all had it tested as well and found no CBD. So we've kept up our testing of other people's products over the years. Here and there, we grab somebody's and we take it in and test it. And we would hope that they may do the same for our product or any other product that they think, oh man, how are those guys getting those numbers, on their THC and if everything is 100 milligrams, it can never be that. I mean, it has to be a little bit off, either 0.9 or something. But anyways, there's been a lot of dishonesty as far as what's going on, and if it's medical, that is very bad.
It is bad, and I did test that, and I'm sure other labs tested it, and yeah, I probably tested a total of 15 times, and in fact, it's funny because my business partner who loved your candies went to get them, and the store was out of them, so he saw this, and he's like, oh, I'll get this. And he took some, and he came to the lab. He didn't know that I'd already tested it previous. And he's like, can you test this? I don't think there's anything in it. And I go, yeah, there's nothing in it, but I'll test it again. Tested it, had nothing in it. He brought it back to the shop. The guy at the counter was like, oh my God, I'm sorry, sir. Gave him like, $40 on top of that refund, whatever. And he goes, God, I'm sorry. That's crazy, right? So then he went back to see what had really happened. Still on the shelf. The guy's like, yeah, we still sell it, though. So the dispensary didn't even take it off the shelf. But more importantly, I had somebody that worked for me at the time that confronted the company. And basically they said, but that's my best seller. Well, that's great that that's your best seller, but it doesn't have in it what it says it has in it. That's the problem. But it got worse. So then I go to the Facebook group I'm on for parents of sick kids, and I see the picture of it on there. And I'm like, please, nobody buy this. Like, they're buying it for their kids. Like, their kids are almost dying, and they're buying snake oil.
Right.
And that chaps my hide. And when I went on there, and I'm like, oh my God, don't get. And they don't know. These are parents that have never, ever even touched cannabis. They know nothing about it. And here they hear so many great things about it. And then you're going to buy snake oil, and of course it's not going to work. And then where are we at? They're going to be like, oh, that cannabis, those stoners just wanted to legalize it, and that's the problem. And I hear you. I test products all the time. But guess what, gentlemen? It's mandatory testing, and now those numbers need to mean something. And that's when the rubber's going to meet the road. And you're going to see a lot of edible companies go away. Because, as you said, it's very hard to get those cannabinoids in products. Very hard. Mm-hmm. So, sorry, I get a little emotional about that.
It's a point to be, to have that feeling for when we can read the testimonials and know what the benefits, and then you think of the person walking in and having a purchase that doesn't really have any backing to it. That fraudulence to us has made us use more swear words in our shop than a sailor, because we're just kind of we're shocked. Shop. Yes, or we're shocked. So and our employees, when we get them talking about it, they just look at us like they're blown away that someone would have a black heart to go for money like that. And that's
a
what
black heart. That's perfect.
That's about it, because it's just for the money, and that's not why we got in this industry. Of course, money can be made in this industry, and that's a great thing. But to know that you're helping people and changing lives is another part, and that's the part that we cherish.
And doing it totally legit.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Having this legal, amazing thing in Colorado having this opportunity in Colorado means something. So make it something. Make it part of your life. What would you do to others, and how would you want someone to sell you something? And I think these people selling it that way are not.
Or what if you had a sick child?
Correct. And
you thought you were buying whatever it is. You thought you were buying Vicodin or whatever saves you. You thought. And then you found out it was sugar pills. Would you be pissed? Yeah, I think you'd be a little pissed off. So yeah, exactly. You need to put yourself into their place. And what if your child that was dying of cancer got sold a bill of goods?
Right.
Or your mother or your father or your brother or sister. I mean, the list goes on and on. But guess what? Mandatory testing, no one's going to get away with that. And no one's going to get away with that going forward in these states that test. Now, we still have California is a problem. Arizona is a huge problem, because Arizona is like it was here, where you can go somewhere and buy a high number, or you can go somewhere and buy an accurate number. So now the people that are doing good testing in Arizona are getting suckered by the fly-by-night people that know nothing about science. They'll just tell you what you want to hear.
Right.
And so it's the same thing. But mostly, and New Mexico, but mostly the other states, that come online is having mandatory testing, which is how it should be. Mm-hmm. So we'll end with, I want to read another one of these, because we were talking about sleep, and sleep is a huge problem. And I can tell you this, those people that think, oh, well, it doesn't really matter. It does. It resets your brain. It resets your body, your metabolism, everything. Sleep is so important. And Ambien has probably more side effects than it actually lists. It's really scary. So why not take something natural? Mountain High Suckers, I'd like to take a moment to thank you for helping me sleep. I had a heart attack 2 years ago that I was giving 3 stents and lost 20% of my heart function. After having a heart attack, most people are put on blood thinners, blood pressure pills, and more, myself included. The problem is I cannot sleep taking these medicines, but I cannot take them not take them and die. My doctor prescribed Ambien, but with 20% heart function loss, I wasn't excited about this option. I needed to sleep, so I tried Ambien, but still never got a full night of sleep. It made me feel like I was hung over in the morning. That's another thing we didn't touch on. All these sleeping pills and everything make you feel groggy in the morning. A friend gave me one of their suckers to try. Which is legal. Long story short, problem solved. I keep one by my bed, and when I can't fall asleep, I turn on my TV timer, suck on a lollipop about 5 minutes, and prepare for a great night of sleep. I may not be one of your best customers since one sucker lasts me over a week, but I sure appreciate your products. Now, wait a second. Hold on. Ambien is how expensive, and you have to take one pill a night. So, and she has one sucker in a week.
That's great.
That's all. I mean, that's all she needs.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's a perfect point to say that not everybody can be accurately dosed by somebody except yourself. And that's why you have to start small and you work your way into any type of product, because you need to see how it reacts. And our profile of cannabinoids that we offer is a little different than other edibles, so I think people can be surprised at the benefits. Some might not get as dynamic as this woman. She's very lucky to not have to use so much, but we're lucky to have her as someone who, can benefit from it.
Well, think about it. So she licks on it for 5 minutes, or Ambien.
Yeah.
I mean, holy nuts. You should tell her that she just needs to buy your little things, and then she could just have one candy to suck on.
Correct.
Because that would probably
I
be
think she
equivalent.
found those by now.
Did she?
Yeah. The lozenges.
Anyway,
Yeah.
these are so amazing. Down to another guy that has cancer. Surgery, blood clot. I mean, all of these things. So the point is, if something's happening with you and you're in a legal state, reach out and try this amazing plant. And if you get to come to Colorado for adult use, when will Mountain High Suckers be available for adult use?
We'll have our adult use license, both of our licenses, by the middle of March, but we're shooting for around the end of March. So
Perfect, right in time for April.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Okay, well, come on, brag about yourselves and tell people how to get a hold of Mountain High Suckers.
Well, our webpage is decent as far as finding locations. People can go to mountainhighsuckers.com and take a look at our website. We try to keep it up to par. We are missing approximately 15 or 20 different places on there. We haven't updated in a little while. We've been very busy, but really, if someone's very interested and they have a favorite center that they go to, they should look on their webpage. Most people will provide a full list of edibles or smokables in their shop, and they can find us there.
Right, and if a patient doesn't find it at your local dispensary, ask the dispensary. Say, guess what, guys? I'd love to give you my business. You're closest to my house, but you need Mountain High Suckers.
That's how we've gotten into a lot of places.
Yeah.
People looking for our product.
That's great.
Yep.
Because guess what? That's who sells it better is them than
That's
you,
true.
right? Or my business partner. You can always get him to
Steve's
go in and talk
great.
to anyone. He's like the biggest fan. So anyway, you can also call them at 303-548-8913. And again, that's Mountain High Suckers, all regularly spelled, all spelled out.com. Or you can always revert to Jennifer at canlabs.com, GENIFER at canlabs.com. I'd love to hear your show ideas. Email me. And we'll be back next Thursday. We're switching the show from Monday to Thursday, 2:30 to 3:30. Again, Thursdays, 2:30 to 3:30. And that's all about cannabis. Talk to you then.